6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business is the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Every time I'm different thoughts.
I literally messed that up. That's fine. I was clearly thinking about something else. Okay, we will, review and approve the minutes of October 1st. Second. Motion and second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody. Members' reports, we'll start with Lindsay.
No, I don't know.
Nothing. Chucky? And nothing from me. We'll dive right into the manager's report.
All right, start off with the dams acquisition and nature conservancy. So I think it was the day after your last meeting. They came in and met with me, there were 3 of them. And so pretty much what they did was they laid out a rough timeline as to where they're going, where they want to be. And so you got the 12 months for the closing on that transaction, and probably 5 years after that. There was a lot of lack of information, I'll say. And so that was a little discouraging, knowing that, you know, you put 160 million on the table and don't have a plan supposedly, but they'll be back, and we're gonna be working with the other towns to make sure we're all on the same page. But in the meantime, they're working on modeling the rest of the river, so they're generate renderings. And then hopefully looking into things like the impacts of shoreline zone and the floodplain. Those are things that I brought up. Obviously there weren't any answers, but I've asked, you know, as soon as we get them and we have more information to come to the board. And I've kind of pledged to them that they would come to the board. We wouldn't have public comment as a part of that, but it would be more of a engagement between their officials and our officials. And then the time for public process would be later at a different setting. So anyway, they will be back in touch, but I would expect it to be a few months before they actually come before you folks. So the fall festival this last Saturday was a great success as far as I was concerned. It was a very cold start to the day, but we had a lot of people that came through that park. And we had 6 pumpkins left over. So a huge thanks to Scouting and Savings Bank. They footed the bill for all of that. And then the organizations and businesses that did participate. It was a good win, I think, overall. So swim docks are out at Usula Park. Those went out last week, and the boat launch dock is supposed to be gone before the end of this week. So just a heads up, you only got a couple days left before it's inconvenient to move your boat. Internet at the airport was upgraded to fiber, long overdue. We've always had terrible service out there, but everything fell apart when they did that, much like what happened at the sewer plant. They came in and they did our pre-inspection and identifying this need and that need. And when they left, we didn't have phones, we didn't have a weather station for life flight, we didn't have fuel pumps. We didn't have much of anything, but that's kind of all been pieced back together. They told us we were gonna need to change our phone number. I don't think we're going to have to, but that's a work in progress. They also told us we were gonna need to go buy old school phones and an answering machine. So,
Wow.
needless to say.
Let's hope the FAA doesn't make us engineer those ones.
I've been working with TDS to try to figure that out and why an upgrade would be a downgrade. So we'll get there, but those transitions obviously aren't fun and great. Library building committee met yesterday in what I thought was a relatively efficient meeting.
Yeah.
An hour and 20 minutes or so. And they were able to peel through that information. We'll bring it up a little bit under other business because I didn't expect they were going to get as far as they did. But productive consensus and all of their information will be on norridgewock.gov/library building. So that will be the one-stop shop for people, videos, minutes, documents, you know, site plan review, ordinance, the concept, renderings, all of that stuff will be on their website. So the public's able to see that. The town-owned property maintenance, that's our long mow contract. That is open with proposals due on the 29th. Questions were due today by 2 o'clock. We did not receive any. Dry wells. Mercer has what seems to be an abnormally high number of dry wells. And we're starting to see reports of that here as well. If you have a dry well, we have a supply of bottled water. Obviously, we don't have water for you forever, but we can get you started and help to bridge some gap, especially if cost is an issue. Reach out to us at the town office. We have a short survey so that we contribute data to the state of Maine's database, and then we can get you some cases of water that were donated. So thank you to Poland Spring and Hannaford for donating water. Brian Bratton is the EMA director over in Mercer, who facilitated all of this with Sarah Bicker of the county, and then with Woodmill of Maine, which is out on Route 2 in Mercer. They forked these pallets onto the truck, came over, forked them, offloaded them, and that was a huge load off from our plate, and we are appreciative. Last week, we hosted the Millstream kindergarten classes as they came through to learn about community. That's always kind of fun, but you know, the kindergarten doesn't remind you why, you know, kindergartens aren't all the time. And anyway, that was good. They also went to the fire station post office, and tomorrow the first grade's coming, so hopefully that's an improvement. As they learn about local government, civic involvement, and pretty much election part.
I have like 6 kids,
You're fine.
oh, that's a brilliant.
Well, it was a struggle. I tell you, those teachers earn every last dime, probably.
Like herding cats.
Yeah, would be right. Let's see, next Friday, I will be out and I'll be out for a little bit. I will be working remotely, so just a reminder on that. Dog licenses are now available here at the office. We appreciate your patience because that same wonderful system that the state implemented last year is still there. The one big reminder is for people that have kennels, you will be subject to state licensing. You do not get licensed in the town office anymore. We will do your inspection, but the state wants some of your money. And so that will go to the state now. So you can't wait until the last minute to license your kennel, because some of them do. Absentee ballots are now available. That's gonna be through October 30th, unless you have special circumstance. Somebody accidentally backed into our drop box out front last year, and crumbled that, and it wasn't repairable, so I'll have to recycle that one. And you know, you wait long enough and somebody will give them to you, so the Secretary of State found a pot of money and sent us a free, well, not out of the Norridgewock coffers, drop box for outside here, so that boys put that up today. Town office entrance, it's probably one of the ugliest entrances to any town office right now. The platform's crumbling, everything's rusty and whatnot, so we're gonna take a little bit of money. We patched up the platform, we've spray painted the rails, we're gonna put paint on the concrete out front, try to preserve that and make it look a little bit better. And then we're gonna brush the door up, make that look nice. So that's gonna be on Friday. So if you're coming here on Friday, plan to use that second door, and if you need ramp assistance, preferably call ahead, but we'll also probably be able to see you. We'll get you through the conference room, preparing. New fire truck is in production. We are getting the weekly updates out of Florida with that moving along. And let's see, last week the chassis was prepped and the body continued to receive trim and wiring harnesses. And then this week that chassis work's continuing and the body should be mounted. Couple pictures from last week's update in there. And then you've got your tax collection update, which is wild and well. Our meetings are here. The library building committee, we'll talk about that under other business, hopefully. But that now is up in the air. Tomorrow, we're gonna book a sewer commission and a planning board meeting into the afternoon. TIF is slated for the 28th, probably won't meet. Down to your community events, the Grange has that makers market, farmers market, but arts and crafts type thing on the 18th. The trunk or treat is the 25th. We've started to hear rumblings about exactly what's going on. 25th is the school at 5 o'clock, and I think the fire department, we're gonna support them with candy to send them over. And Duncan is closed for 2 weeks. They're expected to open on the 30th, and she would like to hold a grand reopening there, so you're invited to that. It'll be 9 AM on Thursday morning, the 7th. It's just the time that worked well for legislators. And so we're helping to
Consultant or something, like it's
Sorry?
new, it's, what are they getting like?
It's on a full remodel. Yep,
Wow, that's a pretty.
inside, outside. So we've got, I think the Chamber of Commerce is gonna, you know, anyway, it should be a decent time. I'll plan to try to be there. And then looking ahead to election day, that's November the 4th. Let that get ahead of you.
Right on, thank you. Number 6 here, discussion action on October 16th, general warrant number 19.
Go for it, Lindsay.
Jesus,
Yeah, right,
okay.
I'll let you make the motion on that.
The biggest one I think I've ever spit out. I moved to approve. I can't believe I'm gonna try to spend one of the. General warrant number 19, the amount of $1,528,316.56.
Yes. Any discussion on that?
Well, I mean,
So you have, in this, there's $500,000, but we have a little bit over 8 million in Skowhegan Savings Bank right now.
yeah,
Because tax revenue just came in. Franklin Savings Bank has approached us and asked us if we'd be willing to put a little bit more money over there, trying to keep things equitable. So there's a $500,000 check that we're cutting out of our bank account to move to Franklin. So you can pull that back, and then we have to pay the sheriffs and deputy salaries up in Skowhegan. And that is $668,000. That was due on September 30th. But they don't charge us interest until November 1st, so we're cutting it and we're gonna hold it until November 1st. And then we'll send it up to the county because $700,000 does generate interest. And so we'll happily keep it here. And then you've got your school payment as well. You also have in this $98,100. That is Kodiak, that's the manufacturer of the airport snowball.
Oh,
So this will be reimbursed, however, the airport doesn't have enough money to pay for it. So this is being drawn out of the airport's reserve account. that
what
they
is on the
have.
reserve?
Well, it did have
$7.
$145,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no.
good.
Over 150, yeah.
Sweet.
We've never touched that reserve account, I don't think as long as I've been here. But we are now at the point where I can't pay for the snow blower, take it out of the reserve account, so.
It's $100,000 for a snow blower?
It is when you have to meet federal specifications.
Boy,
Is that,
fine print on when we took that airport, wasn't it?
is that 31, is that all the sand you get up to Laney's? Is there more than that, was there any more?
Yeah, that's, I don't know whether he's gonna have to get more or not.
No, but I knew
Is that what the
that.
31 is sand?
Mhm.
How much you get to pay for that a year? Yeah, do you?
Central Maine
Yeah,
Power.
Six to six and a half,
Couldn't tell you right offhand.
both that, yeah.
Yes,
I think it is.
yeah.
It was nothing. This, some towns are hauling it about 50.
Yeah, a lot of people are hauling it, they've been trucking it hard. I think he was the lowest price around, I think a
Oh,
lot
had
of
to be.
people opted to go there.
I know one town, Ireland paying $15.
So. We're fortunate, we have a lot of fits right here.
Yeah, the 5,900 for Central Maine, is that like a bigger bill than normal, or is it always somehow, I'm not saying that it's that much, that's not a month.
No, that's monthly
That's
usage.
monthly, that's,
Can't forget about sewer plant. Sewer
Yeah.
plant's a huge consumer of electricity.
3,000, that's just sewer.
okay.
Yeah.
Even when you find financial
Yeah, what
services,
do you do though, right?
financial services.
Sure,
for-
E1 is our credit card.
Give her
Okay, all right.
a
Alright.
A lot of what you have there is parks related.
Okay.
And the public safety, that's the street lights, right?
Yeah.
No electricity,
Yeah.
okay, that's all of our street lights, the bridge lights, okay,
And the 3,200 for the docks, is that to take them out or?
that is,
Oh,
Both ways.
well, it's both, that's in and out,
Yes, we didn't pay a bill in the spring.
that's better, that's better,
Okay.
Correct.
because if it's 3,200 each way,
A little
That
more
might
power,
be able to-
a little more power.
a little.
Yeah.
It was $100 a section, 16 sections.
Yeah, which really isn't.
Is there ever- Is there ever much comment about the kayaks they rent? I mean, that's, cause it doesn't cost the town anything, but did they ever say anything? I never seen one going, but.
I've seen people
I've seen
use them,
how it
yeah,
works.
yeah, it would be interesting to see how they fared this year.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I can pull that out. I have
So if they
access.
come back, I hope it was profitable enough for them that they wanna remain a partner with us.
Yeah, same.
I kept meaning to like go like paddleboard and then
Right,
Oh, we have a lease. We
Yeah.
paid them an upfront lease with the TIF money.
it was like 2 years, right?
No, it's forever lease.
Oh,
As long as we want it, they have to maintain it.
Oh.
Yeah.
wow.
Good enough.
But yeah.
That's good, that's good. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Right.
Hesitant.
Yes, from everyone.
Sorry, you really miss Jim. You really.
Right. You would. Number 7 here, discussion action on October 16th, airport warrant number 10.
What the?
Reimbursement,
Right. Good luck.
Not
95.
5% of giant numbers, and I want to approve the airport warrant number 10 for $57,000, $911.50.
Oh, don't sound so enthusiastic.
Like, and no, it should be.
Motion on a second, any discussion on that?
The Gale Associates just for telling us what kind of light bulbs we should put in the pattern, that's
Yeah,
the
what is it?
deal.
That's consulting on the taxiway improvement project, so, where we went in and repaved in between hangars on the right side as you go in.
Okay, yeah.
That is. It's not just, it's. One other thing to note is that, once I finally got caught up today, I had drafted a municipal solicitation letter on behalf of the airport to go to towns across Franklin, Somerset, and Kennebec County. I needed some extra information from Lifeline. And so we're gonna be sending that out on a whim and hope that people will realize that it is a regional airport. And, you know, we're the ones that sit here and foot the bill for what goes on out there.
Yeah.
But Lifeline doesn't very often service a resident of Norridgewock. But residents from the area benefit from it.
Yeah.
And our fire department that gets called out to.
In fact, it costs you when
Where-
somebody from out of town uses Lifeline.
Yeah, any way we can defray
Right.
the obscene cost of that black hole of money loss would be great.
Yes.
You're turning into a poet.
Yes.
Oh.
That's nicely
Yeah, I
put.
can make up a real depressing country song about that airport, that's for
Okay.
sure.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody.
Yeah.
Number 8 here, public comment. Skip.
Yeah, this is to Richard, Richard, I've been going back and forth with the tax assessor about my abatement. She said I won it. Have you heard anything? I haven't received any check or anything,
So, no, it hasn't been approved. It's been recommended to be approved.
okay,
The tax assessor are elected.
right,
They will meet next Thursday at 8:30. Largely a formality.
right,
That will then be put back as a credit onto your account, the
Right.
value of the homestead exemption.
okay,
And then if you want that cash back, you have to send me an email or put me something in writing that you would like the overpayment credited back to. Other than that, it'll sit on your tax account.
should I come to that meeting?
I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, I mean, I can, it's.
Becky will be there. It's fine.
She's pretty vague, she's been had to deal with.
Just winning wasn't enough.
Right.
You actually want the money back. I'm just-
The level of responsiveness from the state of Maine and any department has been difficult. And the Maine Revenue Services is only open until noontime every day. And so that complicated things. She couldn't get an answer when she needed an answer. Next Thursday.
Anything else for public comment?
I have one thing,
Yeah.
and this is more FYI than anything. And I mentioned this a couple months ago, I'll mention it again. The guys have been going through the as-sold specification for the new fire truck, Richard
For what?
mentioned.
The fire truck.
The new fire truck,
It did sound like something different. It's fine. Just keep going.
the as-sold specification.
As sold. That's what it was. I wasn't sure either. It didn't sound like that. I'm sorry.
Swear words, see for listening, sorry. There we go, I am an infant child, I am a fault.
So they've been going through that with a fine tooth comb, reviewing the 30-year-old truck that we have that we wanna get rid of, right? Reviewing on that, what we can reuse. What is and isn't coming with the new truck and therefore deducing this is what we need to buy. And for those of you that were on the board in April of 23, when we purchased our new fire truck, you remember a lot of conversations about, well, we won't buy this here as part of the truck, we'll buy it later. And another example of that was, we wanna commit to battery tools for half the money versus a new generator, so we took 10 or 12 grand off the purchase. Anyway, we've got together a list, it's a budgetary list at the moment. What we need to do is to go out and get final pricing from the best vendor. Now, some of these purchases are $100 or $120. But there's one that's $5,000 or $6,000 that needs some competitive pricing. And what I will do is bring that all together in a lump sum packet, so you can review it all. And bring it to your next meeting, which I think is gonna be November now, right?
Yep.
For you guys to approve, it's plus minus right around 20,000, all total, everything, so. So just wanted to give you I guess it would be 3-week notice that that's coming,
No, right on.
okay?
If you need it, you need it, or you do, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, an example is some of the hose on that truck is 30 years old. Now, some of it isn't, but some of it is. We need to replace some of that, some of the nozzles, et cetera, so. We're being conservative with the list, but if you need it, you need it, I like the way you said it, so. And, you know, the list of what we're reusing is as long as the list of what we're buying, just so you know, but
Did we decide what's happening? with the
Everything,
old
right?
Truck yet?
Right down through to the axles and everything we've been doing. We actually had a conversation on that today. I think there's multiple options.
Good. Was there still interest from the school or no?
I don't dare comment on whether they have interest or not. I will tell you that their need isn't the same as it was a couple of years ago, because they picked up an engine when the water.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought.
So they might not have the same level of interest that they would have had 2 years ago.
Okay.
But they might, I don't wanna speak for them.
No.
But there's always the public bid option, get your $2,000 and make it into a hay wagon, right?
Yeah.
And there's an auction option, there's this. It's definitely something that we're gonna be talking about. I think. I'm fairly convinced, given when the new truck is scheduled to arrive. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Being the winter, I'm not gonna be in a huge rush. To get rid of the old truck. Training on the new one is gonna be a little more difficult with the winter, right? Flowing water and the cold temperatures and things. It might take us a little longer. And as long as we've got a place to put the old truck, you know, it might be spring before we're ready to get rid of it, not necessarily the day after the new one comes.
You're gonna keep it right there? You're gonna pack the trucks in there or something going up to public? works?
We have, another option, scouting our station.
Oh, right, because that's,
We have another option there, we'd have to talk to the town of Scouting and get their approval, but, that happened to us when we moved fire stations. For almost a year, there was a Oakland fire truck in our old station,
okay.
off and on, as they struggled with, problems with the new truck they had, so. Kind of the same scenario
Yeah.
maybe, but, we might wanna keep it until March, April, or something like that, just given how hard it is to do outdoor things.
Yeah.
In the winter
Down
time,
here.
so. But we don't wanna keep it.
No, right, yeah.
An example would be, next week after, trucks are going for pump test. In Vassalboro, right, and that's a traditionally $1,000 a truck thing, we're not gonna do. The truck that's retiring, we're gonna skip that.
Okay.
Supposed to do a pump test annually,
Right on.
not
Makes,
gonna do.
makes sense.
They're not
Right
gonna
on.
do, right, save that $1,000, and who knows, the other two might need some repairs or something, they always do.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so expect me at the next meeting, it's not 1.5 million.
Right.
But it will be plus minus 20,000.
Okay. Right on. All right, anything else for public comment?
One quick,
Okay, and that would be out of our capital reserve, you know, right along with the truck.
the truck for Public Works is local, it's getting its finishing things put on it, but we've got that red Chevy pickup truck.
Oh, yes.
That we will look to dispose of, and Todd alluded to the low ball figures on sealed bids, and this is honestly the headache of it. Is an auction company that I think is worth experimenting with, to say, okay, look, take this, they do it, the fees are buyer's expense. And they come up and they list it for you and everything,
You
and
don't
I,
want to just give it to the sportsman's club?
the 2-wheel drive pickup truck,
Stick it on eBay. Put a reserve on.
See, we might be able to use it for calcium. We have to take any of that over. If not,
It doesn't have the capacity for that.
oh, it doesn't, okay,
No.
then we probably don't have.
So anyway, I think the bid avenue, the auction avenue, which is online based, might be a good, we could experiment with that red pickup truck.
Why don't,
See what you're able to get, you know, we know we get $1,000 if you bid it out, might get two. But if you can go to auction, would you get four? I don't.
Another avenue exists on the fire truck. It's still in pretty good shape. I mean, it's 30 years old and time to be replaced. But it might be better than somebody has around, right? Some of these small towns. Putting up some kind of posting at, the truck repair places like Reliance or Allegiance or, the new place in.
yeah, or firing it off to all these other
Right line.
departments, I would rather see it go to another department. I
Right.
mean, if it can't go to the
That's the
school,
fire truck.
right, I would rather it stay a fire truck than be chopped up into a hay wagon or something.
So that's another option.
I can't believe somebody should, oh, now,
Right,
Cookies done.
right, yeah, don't kick it right here.
Don't do it here.
Let's make it dramatic.
No, you're right.
Final words be.
Right, you would think another small town would scoop that up at a good deal,
Right.
yeah, because like you said, this is pretty decent truck still.
Still decent.
Yeah.
It's 30 years old and has its problems, right? But it's, well, it's better than what some have.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
Yeah. good idea,
Better than what some have.
yeah. I don't know if we, right, have an email for all these other towns. We just fire it over, like I said, I would just as soon see it go to them at a good deal versus be chopped up.
And you don't do that luxury,
We don't,
you'd have to do that through town meeting,
oh, of course we
if
don't,
they set the threshold of assumed value and how it has to be in.
yes, makes
That
sense.
sounds laborious.
There's an exclusion in there for fire.
You can just give it to anybody? I think it.
Whatever, the exclusion says whatever they say.
I think it excludes fire.
Like, at one point, we had to say.
It excludes fire truck.
Right.
Well, some of
So
them
no.
had, you remember
It has
that?
to-
There was some.
They
of
said
those
you should
that
exclude
had
fire.
another town.
Excess town property has to go to sealed bid with the exception of fire trucks.
Right, we
Yeah.
did the Jaws, and that's because they were donated
Right.
from Waste Management.
You can
So,
bypass
that.
So,
The select board may dispose of fire equipment excluding trucks.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Or in such terms and conditions as available. So you can give away it.
That's, it was the Jaws thing that
Yes.
presented, okay, so we can't do that on fire truck.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, right on. Okay, we all stand for
If you're not getting rid of it until April or May,
It
well,
might not matter,
revisit.
right? Right. Matter.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just, right now, not knowing what we know, we might wanna hold on to it too.
Yeah.
Early spring.
Okay, right on. Nothing else here, we'll roll forward into number 9 here, discussion action on appointments to the SAD 54 cost sharing formula review committee.
All right, so this is, a while back, Val Colomb, our school board director was here, and she alluded to the rumblings of this conversation. It wasn't rumblings, it was reality. And they have assembled this committee and would like it to get off the ground with its first meeting being on the 27th. What this does is it looks at local contribution to education, so anything above and beyond what's essential. Is allocated right now based upon, valuation, right? We have 100% valuation.
yeah,
Anyway, you can look to adjust that to a mix of valuation and pupil count. You go all one way, you go all the other, you go 50-50. At the end of the day, I think it's gonna be pretty clear cut once they get the spreadsheet together, how it will impact communities. So, they're hoping it's going to be a pretty quick process. It did not come in from the public as it usually does. This is a board initiated review, so, hopeful that whatever, the end is not unfavorable to Norridgewock. With that being said, Val Colomb was elected by her peer of Norridgewock representatives to be the school board representative from Norridgewock sitting on this committee. The select board is responsible for making 2 appointments to this committee. Reached out to Chucky, knowing that he's expressed an interest in the school, and what does he say? That's where all the money spent anyway.
yeah.
And then just talking around town, we reached out to the Hiltons and Jim
Oh,
Hilton,
yeah,
you know, one of our larger landholders. has expressed a willingness to serve as well. So we got James Hilton, Charles Farren as
Nice.
potential nominees, unless there's anybody else that's interested.
No, I think that's great. Thank you. No, and Jim too. That's really, I couldn't
Yeah.
think of any two better people to be on it. So, no.
And so we can have a motion to appoint, please.
So moved.
Motion the second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody? Nice. Okay, number 10 here, discussion action on ethics and conflict of interest ordinance.
So we went to training last week, right? And you don't have any materials for this. And the discussion was about ethics, and then Matt and I were talking, and it's like, okay, well, there's nothing that tells you where you're supposed to sit aside. When you have to, when you don't have to, when you have to make a disclosure, and there's no enforcement mechanism. Then it kind of gets into the discussion of, well, I'm elected, you can't tell me what to do. And the only way to cure that is next March, if you're running annual term, or 3 years later, we don't deal with recalls. Recalls tend to get dirty and not good for public trust anyway. Then you can get further into, what if you're in litigation or potential litigation with the town? And you are an elected official and you sit on a board and you have the ability to make decisions. Is that right?
Depends what side you're on.
Correct.
Yeah.
Really?
So, good point.
Completely objective and not subjective.
Right.
No,
So
just case.
It's blurry quick.
If the town initiated a claim against Lindsay Lynch as the owner of her residence for having 8 junk vehicles in her front yard,
Girl can do.
should you be able to sit on this board and
Slap
continue to make decisions as long as that's active litigation? Or only exclude yourself from topics related to that, or only exclude yourself from code related topics? Or are you suspended with pay until that's settled? Those are the types of degrees. You don't have anything to consider today. It's more of a conversation as to what your temperature is on it. If it's just a way far out there idea, or if it has to be an ordinance, it has to be approved by the town.
For me, I think it's a given. You can't sit here and be being sued by the town and objectively make decisions. Whether you remove yourself from that initial discussion, who says you're not being spiteful about something else? And
Yeah.
finding different ways. Well,
Yeah, if
You
it's
took
like,
it.
as far,
Well-
if it's gone as far as litigation, I mean, I'm sure there's been some exhaustive, like, you know. Working behind the scenes to, that it got to that point, like,
Right.
I mean, that means that there's just. I mean. Yeah, I feel like we've done a pretty good job of like, when there are any conflict of interest, like, with anything to do with any of us, like. I feel like everyone's pretty honest and stands up with that, but like for litigation, I mean, like, you see how hard it is for us to get to that point, like, we've done. A lot to avoid that, so if you're at that point, like.
Right.
I mean, but there could be a situation where you're like, there was no way of avoiding it, it was just like, maybe, I don't know, like, you
right,
just never know.
how
what
could you
gets
be
there.
suing me and me
Yeah.
sitting here, running a meeting?
But what if y'all be get an ordinance, it wouldn't be something screwed up in it, geez, there's gonna be an awful.
I think it could be drafted fairly easy by, well, people with degrees and whatnot, not me, clearly.
We go to other towns and ask the
Right.
towns what they have.
Do they have that? Is that something that's
Yes.
common?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
Cause you've heard horror stories from other towns about having a board member be, right, you
Just
know,
the way these policies come into place, cause
Yeah.
it's happened to
Right.
us,
Yeah.
nothing was in place.
So it's not just this, you think about all our elected boards and committees, we have a lot of them compared to other
Yeah.
towns.
Oh, okay,
So, I mean, you've got elected sewer commissioners, you've got elected budget committee
yeah,
members, and
planning boards,
right.
right, all of those are
Okay.
elected, and so it wouldn't just be applicable to this, and it
Yes,
would kind of
okay.
set that standard.
Yeah.
So do you have the palette for that, and if you do, is that something we want me to get working
Sure.
on, so that we could maybe put it to town meeting in March?
Good idea.
yeah, I think so, for litigation, I think for
Sorry,
conflict of
sorry.
interest, like, that's different, but yeah, for.
And would it
straight up-
just be elected or would it branch into employed as well? If you're an employee of this,
That's gonna be.
like, if we're in active litigation against you, How can
Yeah.
you show up and do the job every day? If
Right,
we're suing,
Is they deal with the.
Can we do that though?
Well, I
Like,
don't
if it's
think
sexual
that's-
harassment or a
You
discrimination thing, we
can-
can't, like,
You don't need a reason to put me on paid administrative leave. Not a thing. Nothing stops you from doing that.
right? We're
You
just-
could just say your hair's.
At what point? Who says it's not an employee, whether it be Public Works or another department at all? They write, what's the fire chief? You know, how can he be fire chief in charge of other employees and be in an active, basically lawsuit or litigation against the town?
But it's not even just that. Now he reports technically to you, right? You set his wage, Well, what if he's got other charges that are against him and it just is perception of public trust?
Yeah, right.
That's town of Holton.
That's what's spurred all of this discussion. You know, there's an employee there that had a similar position to mine that was accused of domestic violence and.
The whole crew.
And the public's looking at it and saying, there's no, and said, I'm gonna use the weight of my office to. Squelch somebody from speaking, and so anyway, the council elected to keep them on and not put them on paid administrative leave. Needless to say, I think they've had a quorum resign now from the council, but
Yeah, 5 out of the 7.
yeah,
Well,
but so you're always playing it after the fact. And I think it's not a bad idea to set a policy that gives you flexibility, but you know, says this is when it's bad enough that you need to set it to the side.
right. Seemed like it had one right. It made sense to me.
I mean, I think if it's an employee like me, you can just put me on leave and tell me to get the hell out.
Right,
yeah,
but I think it's,
But I think you would have a hard job doing that to Ronnie, right, because he's elected.
Right.
So I think
I
that,
felt like it was just best to have all our bases covered with everybody. That way, if it is, we have the policy, and no, you're not fired. You know, you're not unelected, you're just suspended. I mean, you're not gonna make decisions for people underneath you, and you're not gonna make decisions for an entire town.
Yeah. is that going to cause us to have to do anything like leaving, because,
That will be an issue until
Okay.
contract negotiations come up.
or, yeah.
Um,
That would be my only concern with doing it to the employee at this point, like, what are we gonna have to deal with, and what are they gonna come back with, or something like, you know,
We have the
set it now
ability-
for elected, and then we deal with that. and-
We have the ability to put people on paid administrative leave,
Yeah.
pause.
Sometimes should they not be paid, like, that's what I'm saying, like, if we wanna think more about the employee, like, aspect. I think for me, I'd be comfortable going forward with putting something together for the elected officials, and then we can, when the negotiations come up with you, like, then look at employees, cause I think that's gonna get a little,
Once you have your document ready, I think it's easily transferred.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like everybody else, I mean, if I'm completely off base, I just think the employee versus.
No,
it's
right,
a little
well,
bit like,
get them working on it, see what they can draft, see what we like and don't like, and kind of go from there. It was just a discussion, and I figured it warranted everybody weighing in, and.
well, better behave ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right,
Damn those dreams of my junk cars.
right. Are gone, are completely gone.
Dreams.
Okay, for, you know, being an official, if you're comfortable with that, okay, good. Number 11 here, discussion action on building use policy amendments.
That's fine.
It's been a while since we reviewed this, you can see the red line in the clean version. There's not really much here that has changed. It's, you know, we've touched the policy, we've updated some of that language. And there's really nothing substantive here that, has changed.
The smoking touch, the vaping,
Mm.
or does vaping need, I mean, Rick, I've truly had enough of that. Is that covered under smoking?
It's supposed to be.
Okay, then I'm content, wow.
I know that the school recently, they put in different like detectors for vape, like whatever it is, it's like, it's not a smoke detector, but it's like a vape. Something like that, like, I don't think we're at the point where we need to install anything like that, but I mean, I didn't even know that was available, that they detect the chemicals in it or something like that, so that we can. I mean,
Right. The distinct smell of cotton candy.
not market to kids or anything.
No.
This is for really the meeting space that we allow people to use. We already have, tobacco use, smoking
Okay,
halls.
so like the park smoke free, right? I mean, it's all
All
a
the town property.
Okay, all right, I thought so, I just wasn't sure.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Make a motion, to accept as written.
Yeah, motion and a
Second.
second, any discussion?
Um.
Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody? Other business? Did I have something with other business? I can't. Oh, okay, no, I can't.
I have, would like to make a motion to add discussion action on library buildings committee recommendations in the.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody?
So the committee met yesterday, and they're already to the point where they want to engage. Right? We had Sebago Technics provide the community with a relatively in-depth, layout of their experience, the municipal experience, libraries, public buildings and whatnot, and they also did the pro bono work up front. The committee was pleased with the presentations that they had received in terms of documents. They would like to move forward with them to finalize the site plan concept where they're taking two and blending them together, and then authorize them to take the wish list, if you will, of the library trustees, librarian committee, and make a recommended floor plan within the building. And then they would also like to meet with a representative from the firm in person to kick that off. This, if it's approved, number one, we need to make note that Sebago Technics, this project isn't going out to bid right now. I have a meeting with them on Tuesday to talk about fee structure, whether it be a lump sum by phase, or if we're gonna do T&M right now, not really sure. But Gene Lancaster and I are gonna meet with them on Tuesday afternoon. But committee discussed, the process for procurement. And right now, they're comfortable with Sebago Technics on this. The money would be expended, whatever it is, out of the building reserve account for the library. And that was understood by everyone that was there. So I thank the committee. It's a productive meeting yesterday.
Yes.
So
It was very productive.
No, it was great, like, and honestly, it seemed like a really good mix.
No wobbling?
No, I mean, I was on it, like, it was gonna be squabbly, it wasn't me.
Well,
I think that everybody, would kind of come to the same, we had all the different renderings, it was the amount of space, how it was gonna be laid out. But I think myself and everyone else, we need something 3D, everyone's looking at it down like this, and it's like, no one can really picture what that space looks like. So I think that the reason to go forward with the Sebago Technics is because everyone wanted to see it like I'm looking at it, we need street view, like, cause we couldn't picture it, and I think that'll be really helpful to get a feel for the space and, look at some different floor plans. And I think that the librarian is gonna put together some sort of like intended use for different spaces and trying to make it as, I don't wanna say marketable, but is like appealing to as many members of the community, not just the people who currently are using the library, to make it like a community center, like multi-use stuff. So I think that'll be, once we see it, I think that'll make it a lot easier to sort of, before we start asking for money, I think I was like, yeah, you better have
Well,
something pretty.
I think the public will wanna see it too, I think.
Yeah,
that'll
you
be
need, like,
helpful.
When was the last one? Like Canaan built one, I don't know how many years ago.
Yes, I mentioned that.
yeah, they're gonna be working, the librarian's gonna, I think librarian, the chair is going to put together a list of libraries that relatively recently constructed, so they're able to get in there and see what they like and what they don't like. And a couple of the members had said, oh, well, I can add that to a list of places to check out when I'm down around that area, so.
And the company provided a lot of like their own, like, examples of their stuff that they put on there.
The whole committee.
Their work is nice, like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was getting nervous because people kept mentioning brick and granite, and I just kept hearing.
I love both of those actually.
Yes, I know, and
Please don't talk prefab. Just
Yes.
please no.
I mean,
the thing is, it's gonna get hauled.
I like how many years ago Canaan built this, it was like 240 or something, so you're gonna at least double that.
Oh, God, no, we're not like,
No, you're gonna get
That was
every
one of the
one.
libraries that was mentioned,
What?
the Canaan Library.
Cause you, I
how
know
big
you,
is that?
but I mean, but.
The renderings we've seen, it's been 3,000 to 3,300 square feet for the building. That was what
Right.
they had in
Right
there.
at the,
But go, just you start down 23,
yeah, right on the left.
onto the left.
Take a right.
Place it for like me.
It sits off the road a little bit.
So, south
You
of
didn't
the-
know, it was a,
Oh, maybe I'll check it out on the triple bank, yeah.
it's less than a quarter mile up on the left.
Good. All right, excellent.
No.
So I need a motion to authorize the building committee to proceed with Sebago Technics for the initial work.
So moved. Second.
Motion in a second.
Vote on it, on the committee?
Sure.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't represent your interests on that committee, you represent the interests of this board.
Your interests are on the committee.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
Confused, I can't have cars, I can't look at.
Right.
No, but John,
Okay, all those in favor, that's everybody. Anything else? Okay,
motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion and a second to adjourn, any discussion? Seeing none,
Just for-
all those in favor, that's everybody.
You put